Girl, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Hey guys, I'm Gia Marie.
I'm Vanity.
And I'm Brandy.
This is our good girlfriend, Brandy, otherwise known as Bubba Brandy. BB Brandy. BB Brandy, Bubba Brandy. That's her Instagram name though, right?
Correct.
Queen BB Brandy.
BB Brandy. Catch me there.
She's also been super instrumental in making sure that this podcast is even running. She's been helping us with our audio and just did it for whatever else. And girl, thank you so much for being that girl for us.
Love you, doll.
Of course, it's been the best time. I'm actually really excited about this episode.
Really?
Yeah, because I just feel like it's gonna be a proper pain. No, I really do think it's gonna be so good. Like I'm excited about it for whatever reason. I think it's just because, bitch, I really do fuck with you.
Yeah, I love that.
No, thank you guys so much for having me.
Of
For
course,
real.
thanks.
I'm also super excited for this. These are two of my good girlfriends.
Yes.
So let's have a kiki.
And we're all trans as well. We're
Correct.
on this couch. We're all trans. We all identify as trans. So speaking of being identified as trans, I'm gonna start the episode off like we usually do with our trans fact, right? Okay, so this one says trans people aren't all attracted to women. So again, since it says trans people aren't all attracted to women, and it says, as in the case with the wider population, different trans people have different sexual or romantic orientations. Trans men can be straight, gay, bi, ace, or identify their orientation in another way. Also, trans women can be straight, lesbian, gay, bi, ace, or identify their orientation in a different way. Also, non-binary people can be attracted exclusively to men, women, non-binary people, or they could be bi, ace, and identify their orientation in a different way as well.
That's such a good fact. Although it may seem simple, it's really not.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the times, I'm sure you guys know this, but like a lot of the times people think just because you are a trans person, say, we'll take us for example, they think because we're trans girls, we have to be into men only or exclusively.
Right.
And orientation is the perfect word. Orientation is not an identity. It's strictly what you like. Identity is clearly.
I mean, but it's not often that you see trans women dating other trans women in a lesbian
or
sense.
cisgender women at all. I definitely have never seen.
I've seen a lot of like trans women, trans men relationships.
Okay.
We see that a lot.
That is pretty common. I still find it a little taboo, but that is a common trans men and trans women dating each other. Also know that trans men can be gay as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a eye-opener for me so one time I'll tell you a story really quick. It was about a trans man, and I remember I was shooting the shit about him with someone else, right? And that person was like, oh yeah, he gets fucked. And I was like, what do you mean he gets fucked? Because in my mind I'm thinking trans men are only dating women or trans women, so they're the top, right? He's like, no, he be getting fucked down by the gay boys and stuff. And I was like, what? Gets fucked by gay boys? It totally opened my mind. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was like real, that trans men actually still take the position as like a bottom gay boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just so many varieties of transness. It's wild.
I think so, which makes life so fun. It's the same as like any cisgender straight person.
Just about to say.
Straight
What do you mean?
Like straight bull.
A cisgendered person can be gay, lesbian, they can be all of those things, just as a trans person can be a lesbian. We can be lesbians, girls.
Yeah.
When I was walking around with my little pixie cut, girl, I feel like a little lesbian.
Power like I could not a suck tornado. I've never met a trans girl couple. I have seen something about it on Facebook before, but I've never met a trans girl couple.
Yeah.
So I'd love to meet you. So if you are a trans woman or in a relationship with another trans woman, let us know.
Let us know.
We'd love to talk to you.
Absolutely.
So today is a different episode because, typically we come up with the topics, but Brandy actually came to me with a really interesting topic, and I was like, you know what? Let's run with that.
Okay,
So we're gonna let Brandy go in first.
So they did kind of want me to bring a topic, so I did.
For
So
sure.
here it is. I want to talk a little bit about being misgendered. So of course that's common thing that we deal with as trans women. Trans men deal with the same thing, I'm sure, all occasions.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about specifically being misgendered by those that are a part of the community. Because I personally have had experiences with that, and I just kind of want to hear your guys' perspectives.
Oh my God.
Being misgendered by our own community.
But I also, just a little bit of a deeper thing, real quick. I also want to talk about how, at what point do you stop accepting being misgendered?
Ooh, that's a
Within
good
your
one.
transition, because your transition, it starts from a very different place. So at what point do you stop accepting that for yourself? And those are just going to be your personal opinions, obviously.
I love this question.
Yeah.
Because as somebody who's very fresh into their transition, I think of course it's obviously still happening, and I think the biggest thing for me now, obviously I'm speaking for myself, but I know the very first thing about it for me is probably my voice. Then next is the chest, because sometimes like I find people, I could be walking and bitch, if I'm in public I'm always tucked down.
Right.
So I notice they look at my pussy, they're like, it's not bulgy, so let me look at the chest. So like, I don't see titties. Hi, how are you? And I'm like, hi. And there's a little bass down there, and they're like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it.
Not the bass of the voice.
So, and I know for me, especially with what your question was so good, because I think as me being fresh, I have to recognize that it's gonna happen regardless.
Right.
I do know that at some point, especially as I'm like further into my transition, that it will grow tiresome, and that I think it'll be like a moment for myself where I realize that like, actually bitch, I'm not okay with you not getting it correct.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm gonna need you to get it correct actually.
Yeah.
I'm having a moment like that right now actually in the workplace, like when I go to work. And it is a little crazy. I'll get into it a little bit later if we have the time, but yeah. So I know for sure I will have that moment for myself, and I'm looking forward to it. Not that I would accept any hate now, but like, or any misgendering now, but I do have to understand that like it's fresh, and especially
it's a part of the experience.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
It definitely does. Me being a little more seasoned in my transition, I'm not gonna accept being misgendered blatantly like that.
Right.
I have also had moments where, in certain situations, people have remembered me from my past as a gay boy.
Yeah.
So they'll refer to me as like my dead name, or they'll refer to me as him. And so typically in those situations, I won't let it slide. Not even the first time. The only times, so you just politely, hey, it's her. Hey, I go by Gia now. You know what I'm saying? So you just kind of do that, right? But when it comes to strangers, because I work as a bartender, and I see strangers every day. And although they are coming into a drag bar, so you would think they know better, but people don't. You know, they're just normal people. So when it comes to strangers misgendering me, honestly, it just depends on how bad I want that tip. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends on how bad I really want to go there that day. Like, am I in the mood for it?
Yeah.
Because also, sometimes when I do correct my straight customers, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm like, all right, chill. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? I get it that they want to be very apologetic about it. They don't want to be rude. But a quick, like, oh my bad, ma'am, and then just move on will be, like, it just enough for me. Like, it's enough, you know?
And you know what? Before you bitches try to be like, well, damn, what do y'all want? Do y'all want us to be apologetic or not? Actually, babe, we just want you to be respectful. And if you are apologetic, and you don't have to cause a scene.
And you don't have to overcompensate your apology with, like, pleading for mercy and
like you
forgiveness, you know?
Like I said, it's not that serious.
It's not. Because
I'm not doing that again.
Exactly. You know? Because I understand that when you meet someone like me or someone that looks like me, I'm what you would consider pre-op. So that means I have no surgery, no titties, I haven't had my face done or anything, right? So I understand that, like, you're gonna see me and you'd probably be like, damn, that's a big bitch, you know what I'm saying? And then it might register to you like, oh wait, she's trans, you know? So I get it. It's not uncommon that I have been misgendered. Is it super common? No, I don't really get misgendered often, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And that's just me tooting my own horn.
Yeah.
But I don't get misgendered often. However, getting misgendered in the community, that is a different story, bitch, because you ain't got no motherfucking reason.
No reason.
Now that I would never let slide.
I can't even think of one.
I don't have to know the 10 minutes, girl.
Yes, girl.
Well, don't worry about it. But
it has to just hit different. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, for sure.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you yourself have been through the experience that you have been through with transitioning, how dare you?
It's
like
just
be so
inflict the like pain it feels to like be misgendered on purpose.
Yeah, and
especially
yeah.
if it's from somebody who is a trans.
Yes, that's how you know.
That is actually
are disrespectful.
Actually, you are, and I think it just shows that like they don't give a fuck about other trans girls, and that I don't know if you remember the conversation that we had a while back of the passables and the clockables line. That's where they like to play on that shit, and bitch, that type of shit's gonna get you
beat the fuck up
and cussed
I
out.
had a girl that said you haven't done the work to be trans.
So, can you go into more what you just said?
Yeah.
So actually, funny story. Gia was with me when I had that experience.
I
with
was.
this other trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's an older trans lady, a trans woman of color as well. So like, of course, just been through it.
She's
Yeah,
and
with her
obviously
experience.
she has been through a lot. Her transition has been long, so she's there at this point. Ass, titties, face,
All
the
of
whole
it.
nine. Like everything is right.
And just honestly, she's beautiful.
She is gorgeous, yeah. But she
So
was making a comment towards Brandy and was basically like, "You're not trans. You haven't done anything for it. You're still,
So I guess
she was basically like, she's still a boy." And I was like,
I just don't understand. I don't understand the statement because it makes me it alarms other questions. Because I guess one, like you were here once. You before you had to whatever, you were where I was. You were still trans then.
right.
What makes you the like median of ruling out who's trans and who's not? Two, what exactly is the work what is the work the question, what is the work that will deem me trans then? Because if it's gonna be,
because I remember asking the same question to myself. At what point do I get to consider myself trans?
Yeah. Because
I had already started getting like laser things on my face, so I had already started.
Yeah, I remember.
things
but that
done.
doesn't. I know, and my thing is like that's my thing is like that doesn't make you trans.
Yeah.
Like, you having
Just
any
because you're doing that.
operation doesn't make you trans. There's trans women, especially we're fortunate enough. I know this country like puts such like burdens on people of color and more specifically trans people of color, but like. At the end of the day, us as a country are still fortunate enough to have the option to have operation.
Yeah.
There's some trans women and trans men in countries where they don't have that
Right.
as an option. So, although you may not find yourself in a place of, of privilege, we do have that American privilege of having the option to even get titties on your body and go and get hormones for free.
Okay, I hear you. I really do. And I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. When someone says you haven't put the work in to be trans or you haven't, whatever to be trans, I can understand and see where they're coming from to a certain extent, because I feel like me personally, I have put a lot of work into being who I am and people respecting me and seeing me as a woman, as a trans woman, and just like putting forth that effort of, just always giving off that feminine energy, which I never really had an issue with because it's natural to me, but like just always giving that womana, right? There are other girls, and I'll say, other trans girls or other binary girls or whatever, who will consider themselves trans, but won't go as far as even getting laser done, like getting laser hair removal. I'm not saying that like you have to do that right out the gate, but I do feel laser hair removal is that's like a bare minimum that you could do for yourself in order to help your transition move further,
Yeah, but
it's
some
a
people
bare
don't
minimum.
want it though.
Yeah, I mean, but why don't you?
Well, that's their
Like, why wouldn't they? Women, I don't care if you're trans or not, women do not walk around with facial hair. That is not a thing for women in general. Not even biological women. Yes, POS is a thing, but even those women will go as far to waxing and laser.
Yeah,
and
but that was
doing
really
all
like that was like a European, like a Eurocentric like way of that being casted on this world. Now that's not our fault, of course, and bitch, obviously in this time where we're at in life we can't do nothing about it. But women being forced to not have hair, that's just like, I'm sorry, babe, but that's like a white thing. That's like a white girl thing. It is, babe.
That is not a
I
white
promise
thing.
you, if you look it up and do your research on culture, on people,
Okay.
it's the truth, babe.
No, but my thing is like, okay, that could be a thing for you, right?
It is a thing. It's not for me. It's just factual.
I still think that there is some work that goes into one's trans experience that does deem them trans. So, for example, you said earlier, when is it the right time for me to even consider myself trans? Now, you could have done that straight from the gate without getting laser, right? And you could have been like, I'm trans, you know? Are they gonna actually take that serious though? Probably not,
Right.
you know? Because she has a beard though. When she's not wearing makeup, I can see a beard. You know, she doesn't wear bras or
Not currently.
Right.
Jesus.
No. Sorry, no. I'm speaking
but
like
at one time.
I'm speaking more like figuratively, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's why, again, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say that yes, some work has to go into your transness in order for not only people, but even yourself to take yourself serious as a trans woman. Because when you look in that mirror and you look back and you see a beard staring at you, you're not going to tell me that you feel the most womana.
I agree, and I can definitely get behind that. Some work, if you do want to be taken serious, like as a woman, in this country, I do agree that I feel like some work needs to be done, even if it is just laser.
Yeah.
Like I do agree that some work should be done. That I can get behind. What I can't get behind is telling people that they need to do something because that's just like what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, pulling back to the original point of like a trans woman telling Brandy that she is not trans, even though like Brandy, I think at the moment I think it was me who was like, but she's getting laser, like she had already started on her laser, like she's starting.
I started laser in January. These events happened like in April or May.
Yeah, so I was like, she's doing her due diligence to becoming trans, and
wasn't even really considering myself.
Like, I don't. Had you started medication yet?
I had just begun taking hormones,
Okay.
and once I started taking hormones, that's when I started really being like, this is it for me.
Yeah.
This is making me feel right about everything going on.
Yeah.
This is right for me.
Yeah.
Someone to be telling her that you're not trans. I think that for me, that's obviously like the downer. Like, I wouldn't accept that. I don't care who you are or what you look like. I don't care if you've had FFS, if you have the biggest titties and the biggest hips in the world. You are not going to tell me that your trans is better or is more trans than my trans.
Yes.
You know, because I can promise you that we'll both walk down the street and we're both going to be called trannies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, I think that's kind of where, you know, we're just different. We kind of differed in conversation because you were speaking more of like, you know, you're not going to tell me what I am or not. But I'm like, also, what she was saying, it wasn't completely non-valid, if that makes sense. Like, what she did say, it wasn't completely non-valid because I do believe work has to go into it. However, it wasn't right that you as a trans woman were downing another trans girl who just started transitioning.
Yeah. That's my thing, and it's just like at some point, like when are you going to lend a hand? Because if I haven't put in the work, okay, then help me, my elder.
Yeah.
Then help.
Where should I go to put in work at? Right.
I wish.
I think it would have been a better outcome if I did say that and she looked back and said, "Oh, you have."
Well, see, and I feel like that was part of the experience too with that entire situation. As much as you know, I was bothered by it, of course. You know, we have had conversations about it before. I think it was also the fact that she maybe didn't know.
Right.
She didn't know that I was doing.
She didn't know the.
You could still see a beard on me.
Yeah, and she probably didn't know the severity of it all.
You know, but I mean. Of course, I wanted to bring that up just for topic.
Yeah, because that's a good one.
I love that though. I mean, for me, it just sparked so many things. I could go on and on and on. I just think that, like, I feel like, obviously, we don't know. She's a trans woman of color, correct? I'm assuming African American?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, I will never know what that road is like. And so maybe you caught her on a bad day, or maybe she does feel that, like, you know, people who are, like, trans girls who are not, like, have it easier, and that's, like, her prerogative. I don't like that, like, narrative. I hate the whole, like, you should probably help me then. If I'm
Right.
not doing it, if I'm not doing it right, and if you're the one who deems it right or wrong, then talk to me and tell me
Yeah.
like that I'm not doing it right. It's
Yeah.
disgusting, and imagine had that room been full of gay boys, because although we're in the same community, we are so different from them.
I was just gonna bring that up.
If we're in the room of gay boys and she said that, bitch, are they gonna take you serious now?
Yeah.
If she don't,
Because I was
are
just
they
gonna
take
say,
you serious?
gay boys are number one offenders when it comes to misgendering. They do it, obviously in argument. Yeah, they do it
basically a lot.
just out of anger. They wanna. I have been misgendered by gay men before in like a argumentative situation. It doesn't bother me because obviously you're just saying it to be whatever, but they do it the most. They do it the absolute most, and sometimes it kind of makes me upset too when I'm not the one that they're targeting, but they're telling me about that one. They're like, oh, a fucking man over there in a dress, and I'm just like, girl, why are you talking to me like that? Like, why are you talking to me about her like that? So I won't even sit there and let them talk to me like that, or like down another trans girl, because that's disgusting. I wouldn't. If I wanted to, I would do it on my own. I can do bad on my own. I don't need anyone else to like put it into my ear,
Trust.
But for sure, gay boys, please, we love you. We want to be your friends. Stop doing that.
And bitch, it's crazy to me because it may not have been us, bitch, but it was a bitch that was like us that got you to where the fuck you are.
Absolutely.
Do not ever undermine the trans girl.
Don't
ever
ever.
do that.
Who threw the first brick? Right.
Who threw the first punch? I'm so
Okay.
sorry that happened to you.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so I love that what you brought up, Brandy. The being misgendered. That's a real thing in our lives. So not for any of you guys to fix the problem, but please fix the problem. You know what I mean? However, I wanted to talk about something, and since we're all girls here, and we all can come from a trans perspective, what do you think of biological women feeling like trans women want to take the place of biological women? How does that make you feel? Like, if you had a girlfriend who didn't like you around her boyfriend, or didn't like you around her friends because, she maybe felt a little,
Out of place?
not out of place, but like you
Threatened,
were
maybe?
threatened. Like, she felt a little threatened, or she felt a little overshined by you only because, you're trans or whatever.
Go ahead, baby.
First of all, girl.
Go ahead.
First of all, I'm not trying to take your man.
Ooh.
And if you think that I'm trying to take your man, that's an issue that you should have with your man. If you have insecurities within your relationship, baby, take that up with your man. Don't take that up with me.
Exactly.
True. Babe,
That's
nobody
literally-
wants
Now, if I
that
suck your
man.
man's dick, he
That's-
should have whipped it out, babe.
You know what? To me, it just sounds like a dusty, no good having like insecure ass bitch.
No, for real.
If you're threatened that I literally just existing like you, and like that makes you feel some kind of way, and especially starts making you feel insecure about the relationships you got around, baby, I can help that.
Or even you yourself in your body.
Yeah,
Because why is your womanhood threatened by me?
exactly.
I mean, if we're being honest, we know that today, like in today's day, trans women are obviously like for me, the pinnacle of like beauty. I think most trans women that are, really well known, they're like the most beautiful women you've ever seen. They're stunning. They put a lot behind it. So I think that's kind of where biological women are coming from, as far as them feeling threatened, is because trans women put the work into building themselves from the outside.
But it's just like, babe, you could do the same thing.
I
These
mean,
options are still at hand for you. You think because you were born with titties that you can't put some more titty in, or that you can't fill your lips the fuck up, or you can't fix your cheeks? These options are still there for you, babe.
Yeah.
If you want to put in the work or not, that's up to you.
Okay.
Just because she's over here doing what the fuck she wants to do because she wants to be known and seen a certain way and taken seriously, and that in her right, she can.
What about biological women who feel that trans women, for example, like shouldn't use the girls' restroom?
I mean, babe,
That's crazy to me.
I just don't understand it, and I think like that's completely.
Because that's obviously, I feel like that whole like gender restroom shit had to have stemmed from like a biological woman who maybe it ran into a trans woman in the restroom, didn't feel comfortable, and that's kind of like where it grew from. Because that's how I thought of it.
Well, I can see that being true because I guess my question is like, what made you uncomfortable? I'm sure this bitch was using the restroom. I'm sure she was probably washing her hands in the mirror. Maybe she didn't fucking throw the trash away, or maybe I can't see the issue.
Right.
I truly cannot see it, even if I wanted to be the dumbest Republican bitch on this earth.
Well, I think the issue lies in a completely different community. Like, pedophilia is a thing.
Exactly.
It really is. And
Right.
just because we are trans or we are of the LGBTQI plus community, whatever, that doesn't mean that we fall in the category of
Exactly.
pedophilia.
Correct.
And let's be fucking honest.
Most pedophiles themselves are probably heterosexual.
Exactly.
So it's
And
like,
they know exactly
why
what
would
the
you
fuck to
project that
say
onto our
to get out of something.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, it's the easiest way for them to point the finger,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
That's why they project it. And two, I mean, who else are they gonna blame? Are they gonna blame their pastors and their husbands
No,
and their
that's not.
brothers?
Because that would be that would make your reality fucking fall.
Yeah.
Because it's real.
So it's easier for you to blame it on
It's easier for you to blame it on
us,
trans
who you
girls.
don't know, and you probably don't agree with their lifestyle, and you don't really like what they're doing anyways. So.
And you know, my thing is too, is like y'all probably don't really even give a fuck about y'all probably don't give a fuck the fact that like we're trans.
Yeah.
Y'all really probably don't give a fuck. It's just so easy to just like it's like people's scapegoat. Almost.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy for you to call out a tranny than it is for you to call out your nasty ass pastor touching kids.
True.
That just is what it is.
True. Very
And let me tell you something. I know so many people who are fucking pastors in the church currently. So, babe, don't worry about my backyard. Actually, don't worry about my side yard.
You know about that.
Boom. Exactly, baby. Tell us what you know, girl.
No, my whole entire family, they're all in the ministry. They all are pastors,
Yeah.
worship ministers.
And
So I grew up in all of that. I didn't ever personally know pedophiles or anything in the church. Of course, you've heard about it happening many a times in
Of
media.
course,
But
right.
that definitely is way more likely to happen in those scenarios, in those cases
Yeah.
of churches, and where, young adults and even elderly adults are put in positions where they are alone with kids. It
Yeah.
happens all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, what makes you think that us, as young adults who live by ourselves in the city, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not likely for us to be in situations where we're surrounded by a bunch of kids by ourselves.
Right. Exactly.
these people swear that these things affect their day-to-day lives, like for real.
Mm.
And it absolutely like doesn't.
No.
It
Yeah.
just, it just doesn't. There's no
Well-
answer about it. Like, it just doesn't, and I think you're worried about the wrong thing.
Right.
How do you guys feel about like that sort of behavior in the workplace, with like people either like misgendering you or them feeling threatened or anything like that? Like, has that happened to you guys before? Have y'all, like,
Yeah. Well, for me in particular, I work in like the
Oh, you
beauty
said that.
industry, and so like, I mean, we know like cisgendered women against each other, like it's just natural cattiness, right? So I think you just take that into play and you throw in a trans girl like in like the mix, and like now they're mad because that bitch like took her position and she thinks she's better because she's wearing like the Gucci like flip flops, but also like bitch, you're trans. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I do have this one issue like at one of the places that I like work at, and she says he a lot. She says he a lot, and I know she bases it off my voice. And my thing is too is I've already educated her and like letting her know the tea, and she's really just she was like a deeply really like from Mexico girl. And so she was just kind of like letting me know, like, I promise I don't mean disrespect. I've never been around trans people ever. She's like, I obviously know, like, you know, that there's trans people like that exist. She's like, but I have never had my like encounter with them. And she was basically letting me know, like, I've always been around just gay men, because especially since I work in makeup now, that's what she's telling me. That like she's always been around gay men, so she's so used to just being like, girl, he's that, like that, da da da. So she's like, it's nothing personal. She's like, it's taking me.
Has she gotten better?
Yeah.
Oh, she
She's
has.
done so much better, and I've let her know, like, I appreciate your effort, because, like, you telling me, like, where you come from, and you actually trying to make the active effort, and just saying, Like, you know, I'm a human. This is how I want to be respected, and her doing that, of course I'm gonna be
Oh, you're good. Because
it's so simple.
I feel like if she was still doing it, then I'd be like, okay, bitch, now you're playing with me.
Well, I did feel like
That's
that.
a problem.
I did feel like that after a few times, especially because she meant me as she. She didn't mean me as he.
Oh.
Yes. So that's where I was kind of like, bitch, are you fucking joking me?
Yeah.
Like, you're playing with me. And then I would look at the other girls and I'm like, y'all, I don't think I'm gonna like this bitch because she's disrespectful. And then they were also gonna let me know, like, you know, like maybe, you know, like that. So I took the time to be like, but I don't want to get into it because you know, why do I always got to be the one to consider shit? But I am fresh, so I'll leave it for now.
True. I mean, the fresher you are, the more you deal with it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It comes with time. Like, you have to work your way up to that point.
Yeah.
And even then, you still have to put in some work because you could do all the work you want and people will still call you him.
Yeah.
So, or they'll be like he. Whatever. I don't care. Just don't fucking do it. And if you do it, just apologize and move on and don't do it again.
So we've gotten to one of my favorite parts, the astro part. I'm gonna make this quick because honestly, I just could talk about myself for days. But me and my good sis, we're both Capricorn. And of course that's my favorite sign. But I want to know what you know about Capricorns and then we'll go from there.
So I know a little bit.
Or start off with your birthday and then tell us what you know.
My birthday's New Year's Eve.
Is it really?
It's always a party.
That is actually sickening.
I'm New Year's Day, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Stop!
We were talking about that before.
31st.
Yes.
Wow.
31st and
Why am I
1st.
barely finding this out?
Yeah.
What do you know
Of
about
course,
this?
that's when I was born. I know a little bit. I've done a few different things where I've had to do a little bit of research on Capricorns. Of course, our symbol is half mermaid, half goat, basically, and that symbolizes we typically are the people who rise from really difficult experiences, situations, and at the end of the day, we end up at the top of the mountain. We end up on top. We end up having succeeded and successfully completing our goals or visions for ourselves. And
I love
that's
that.
what our symbol symbolizes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also know we're very strong-willed individuals. We do we're pretty loyal to the people that we love.
Oh,
the
damn.
people that take care of us. Other than that,
That's what you know.
that's my general.
Here's the gag. So actually, before Capricorn was considered an earth sign, it was considered a water sign. And it was considered a water sign. So water signs, we know they're emotional, like human beings, right? And the reason why they started to defer is because of like the person born under the sign's capability of understanding the emotional intent, but not basing their actions on the emotion. They base it more on structure, factual, more
Very
on
logical
tradition,
people.
logicalness, or whatever the fuck the word is. I love that about you. I love being a Capricorn. It's like my favorite thing, like ever. I will say Capricorns are really, really stern people, traditional, and I don't mean man should marry a woman. Duh, not with this episode, but very traditional in the sense that they love a good sleep. They love a good sleep schedule. They love a good morning schedule. They love work. They probably flourish the most, and you probably meet most of their personality in the workspace. Because also in astrology, Capricorn, we associate our governing planet is Saturn, which is the planet of karma, but also rules over, structure, just anything that has to do with like schedule and tradition. So we associate Capricorn with dad. So it's the reason why a lot of the times Capricorns are very stern energy, are very serious, and are very much about like making sure that what needs to be done is done as far as money-wise goes. Is because we like usually again in like stereotypical sense, like the dad in the household is the breadwinner, is the person who has the last say. It was the person who, when I say this, it needs to be done. Like type of like ideal. I will say also too, because we're egotistical. Let's just be real caps. Cut the bullshit.
Okay.
We got some egos.
Thank God someone
we were just talking about
said
ego checks.
Yeah.
Oh, we were just talking
we
about that.
have some egos for sure. And also, I know this 1000% as Capricorn, and I notice in every Capricorn, you do not like being checked by somebody who's not worthy of checking. Tell me I'm lying. I hate for a bitch. Bitch, if I'm doing makeup and you do hair, why the fuck are you in my hair? Get away from me. Get away from me. If I'm 25 and you're 45 and you're telling me how the fuck I should plan my summer bash, get the fuck out of my ear. Like, it doesn't make sense. And in that sense, we're traditional. Stay in your lane, bitch. Stay in your lane. A lot of the times people like to consider us as competitive, and some Capricorns will identify with competitiveness. However, I don't know if competitiveness is the word. I do think
I was gonna say that doesn't seem right. I'm not very competitive.
I do think that Capricorns are willing to what's the word? Risk, I guess, like are willing to throw people under the bus to advance them in life. Let's be honest. But I think to me it's a little bit more. It's more mastermindful. I think it's always like a strategic way of climbing that mountain. And we're actually third to last in the mountain of life, which means that we watch everything. We're observers. We watch everybody go first to try and climb that mountain. We watch how they fail. We take the opposite path of the person who absolutely advanced, and that's how we get over to the place.
Right.
So we're not competitive. We're strategic. That's what I would call it.
Yeah, I'm so observant.
Yeah.
Strategic.
Mm-hmm.
I love that for you girls. I love caps. Like I said earlier, before in other episodes, like I love caps. Caps are some of my favorite signs. Obviously, my cousin's a cap, Brandy's a cap, and they both are super important no matter if I love you. I want to play the game really quick. I want to play our little game really quick before we go.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
Okay. So, Brandy, we play this game every week, as you know.
Right.
Is it giving TS or CD? We're going to both show you some photos, and you just let us know if it's giving TS or CD. And we want y'all to do the same because we're going to put the photo up so you guys do this exact thing. Leave a comment, okay? Is she giving you guys TS or CD?
Oh, no.
Oh.
What?
This is a difficult one, honestly.
For me, too.
Why?
It's the way her paint is.
Yes.
It's the way that she paints her face. She definitely has a very simplistic. I mean, obviously, we know this person,
Right.
but
Is
it's
it
giving me TS. It's giving me TS.
Okay.
It's giving me CD that doesn't know their TS.
Oh my god! The fact that you just said that read her down.
Okay, and also...
Because I tell her all the time, I've told her all the time, you need to be TS. You should, I don't like force it on her, but I'm like, bitch, if you were TS, bitch, you would eat the girls up.
It's just, yeah, it's giving me CD doesn't know she's TS yet. And that's her journey, and I hope she finds it. But she
Well,
also kind of gives me Kim Petras vibes.
A
Like,
little.
She looks like Kim Petras.
Yeah,
Low-key.
so I'm going to vote TS as well. So...
What? No, it's not because she's white.
Just kidding.
So you're voting...
TS.
You're voting...
It gives me TS.
And it gives me TS.
TS.
It gives me CD TS.
I tell her all the time, I'm like, dude, you should transition. You would eat the girls up.
Wait, does that bring us to the end?
I think it
Oh,
does.
no, babe, just stops right here.
It's okay. I'll be behind the camera.
Love
Okay.
that. Love that.
How did you like your experience?
I loved it. I knew this was gonna be fun.
I was waiting for this one.
We were always kiki.
Yes.
When we're together, it's always
Yes.
kiki.
I was
so
waiting.
we knew this was gonna be
No, for sure.
fun.
When the studio was like, look, like we're gonna book her because we think it's gonna make sense for like the show, I was like, no, I'm all for it.
Right.
She was against it, but
You're-
I fought for you. I fought for
Dude,
you.
shut the fuck up, you delusional psycho.
No,
you would believe her?
I hate y'all. No, I really had the best time, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. I love you for being here.
I love your insight. Oh,
So-
you're so gross.
Everyone should cut your nails.
I've already pointed at the camera too many times.
Stop.
Times, bitch.
I have all 10 nails, by the way.
Okay, girl. Thank you so much for watching with us.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Like Vanity said,
It's
thank
been
you,
the
Mimi,
best.
for being here. And we'll see you girls and guys and everyone in between next week on Girl
Shut the fuck
up.
All right,
I hope
Trent.
don't ever say that to me.
Oh,
I will never see, but she'll have the right one.
Shut up.
No.